Welcome to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
I'm me. I'm Rob. A set, and also kind of right, Rob.
Yeah. Guys, if you're hoping for a good opening weekend here this season, yeah, as Deb said in the comment section, well, it was better than the 40-0 loss last year to Dallas. I guess she's not wrong.
Yeah.
Technically, she's not wrong. Hashtag improvement. Oh my gosh.
Slow and steady, right?
Woo. Listen, we're offering this stream here as a venting for all the Giants fans who are frustrated, because, guys, we're all frustrated. It's not just me and Rob. Not just Deb there. It's all y'all. So pop in the comments here. Let us know what your thoughts are. Release your feelings. Release your frustration here, because damn, this sums up our feelings right now. The Giants lost 28-6 by the Sam Darnold-led Minnesota Vikings, guys.
So I went out on Twitterverse earlier, or Xverse, whatever you want to call it. Ooh, X-Mania, if you will. And one of our fellow podcast hosts out there, Marshall Green, put out there, it's like,
yep, we lost him.
Did you lose me?
There you go. You're back.
All right. So
your face is not back, but your voice is back.
So you put it out there. Hey, like, what do you think? What's your feelings on the win today? I put 6.5 or 7. I forget which one I put, because it went back and forth 3-2. And I said, our defense took a step up. We annihilated the secondary 2 years ago, but that was 2 years ago. And offensive line is going to be better. But also look what that offense did last year with Josh Dobbs.
Yeah. This is
so
like, there's no excuse though for this. There really is no damn excuse. Like, there's no way to look at this game in any way, shape, or form and find any positivity whatsoever. There really isn't. Like, as we lose Rob entirely here. There he is.
Very hard. There we go.
Okay.
Camera and my mic.
Here's the only thing I'm going to say positive. And guys, let me know if you're on board with this. I'm freaking nuts. But the only positive thing I see in this whole entire game is Daniel Jones was so crappy that perhaps this speeds up the benching DJ process. Because I'm sorry, this game solidified. We cannot win with him. He's been ruined. And again, it's not all DJ's fault. I get it. It's not all his fault that he's at where he's at, because this franchise has let him down for so many years. But at this point, it's done. It's over. Experiment failed. Horrendous.
Yeah.
Bad.
I'm over the optimist usually. And just to say, like, if I'm usually the guy that defend the guy coming off the ACL injury, but he just looked awful. They talked during the game. They talked about his game where he changed his stance of more of a parallel, a square stance, which you don't put as much effort on your legs. That's why you do something like that. It comes more from your hips and your twist than when you do a staggered stance. So it should help that. Maybe the new stance may be messed up. I don't know. He just didn't look good whatsoever. But he ran the ball. So it's not like we can't use the excuse as ACL, because like they purposely let him run the ball. He ran the ball on his own, go. So like you can't sit there and say my ACL is bad. Run the ball and say my ACL is bad. I can't throw the ball. Like, what is it? You should be running if that's the case.
Yeah. This is like absolutely freaking.
Hey, Deb, watch out with the beard comments.
This is absolutely ridiculous, though. It's like he didn't read anything in the defenses whatsoever. You guys wide open, he was missing. And when he even hit guys that were open, he didn't hit them in the proper spot, meaning like he didn't hit them in a way that let them go run the ball in stride. There's plenty of times he hit somebody, and they had to go like this and go back to the ball at that point to try to catch it.
Or high. I mean, Grant, also the receivers, I think it was stat in early fourth quarter, we dropped, 5-6 balls. So, 6-7 on the day, whatever it was. But even still,
some of those were not on him. Some of them, honestly, were not good balls that were difficult to catch because of him. Yeah. There's both in that. I'm not going to throw that all on him. But you cannot win with that kind of quarterback play. And, guys, his stats look actually better than what they actually were. He ended up 22 of 42, 186 yards, and 2 interceptions. That's crap. So when that looked better than what it actually was, that's bad. Because he had 55 yards until the Vikings started letting him take the easy passes because they were just trying to break down the clock.
Yeah. And let's be real, 2 years ago, we were praising for getting close to 200 yards because he had 2 touchdowns, not 2 interceptions. And he was winning ball games, but that's not the case.
You know who has 2 touchdowns now? Defenses against Daniel Jones. Because he's now thrown 2 pick sixes in 2 games, 4 interceptions. That's bad, guys. That's really, really bad. And you look at what he did, and these interceptions were so obvious it's not even funny. I mean, he literally threw the ball to Andrew Van Ginkel, who just ran the ball in stride right into the end zone. He was in stride, but if you, I was the only person he threw the ball in stride to.
I'm going to disagree.
I'm just saying, he's the only one who set up for Yak. The interception was the best thrown ball he had. If only the guy was on our team.
Yeah.
Seriously. Sadly. It's absolutely freaking insane, guys. I can't look at anything DJ did as good. And I know I heard a lot of people. So I went to a local bar to see the game. I thought I'd go out and go amongst the masses and see. I wanted to see people's reactions to what was going on here. It's a big game, obviously, for us. So I'll give them a little plug of that Sportscasters on East Bay and Largo for any Tampa Bay people here in the area. Good food, by the way. Food is very nicely seasoned. Yeah, it's very heavily seasoned tater tots and fries. I love heavily seasoned food. But we're looking for anything positive. We're all flipping out. There's nothing positive about this damn game whatsoever. There's nothing. At least when it comes to Daniel Jones's play, we're going to try to nitpick and find some positive things later on. I don't want to be 100% negative, and it's going to be a very difficult part. But there are some things I can look at as being okay. But there's nothing about Daniel Jones that's okay, guys. Absolutely nothing. This is year 6. Year 6.
Yeah.
When you get outplayed by Sam Darnold, that's an issue, guys.
That's also probably the best that he's ever looked. Not to toot his own horn, because I watched him as a Jet. I watched him elsewhere, and
we'll get into that in a minute. I don't want to we'll get that part of the middle later, but it's just at what point? I want to hear from that Daniel Jones apologist. That's what I want to hear from. I want to hear the excuses. What's the excuses today? Is it the line? Is it the receivers?
His injury?
Is it Dable? What's the excuse, Daniel Jones apologist? Because you all are out there. Because anybody talk trash about Daniel Jones, and not now that we're not supporting the guy, we want to support him. He's a Giant. We want him to succeed. At what point do we run out of excuses, guys?
Last year.
Seriously. I feel like there's no more excuse to be had, guys. Accept it. He's not a good quarterback. I'm not even sure I want him as a backup. That's how bad he played today. That's sad.
It's really funny you said it, because that's a caliber where I was ranking him. It's he should be that Drew Lock caliber backup.
And I'm not a fan of Drew Lock, but honestly, I was calling for Drew Lock to come in the second half. I'm not, like I said, I am not a big fan of Drew Lock. I'm telling you right now, next week, if I had my way, Tommy DeVito will be starting.
And he'll be serving everyone a very nice penny of vodka sauce.
But that's where I'm at. That's how bad this was. Tommy DeVito, I think, would have done better. And that's not to say Tommy DeVito is a great quarterback. I'm not that guy. There's some people out there that think Tommy DeVito is going to be like all of a sudden a great quarterback. I don't think he is going to be. I think he could potentially develop into a good backup in this league. And this is our chance to find out what he is, because, guys, there's nothing else out there. Because I'll throw this out there. The only other option that I see out there as a possibility to bring in here from another team is Jameis Winston.
Yeah, and I'm not opposed to that. Like, I'm not either.
Love or hate.
I love to hate that guy and hate to love that guy at the same time.
Yes,
he's my favorite non-starting quarterback that I want to start all the time until he starts.
I'm telling you though, there were people open up downfield that Daniel Jones I don't know if he just didn't see them or was afraid to throw the ball that deep.
That second pick in the end zone.
Yeah,
who's he throw to? Who was Wandale? I think, and it was in double coverage. And you had Smith coming for the interception. It was in the third.
I should try to think who. I can't remember who was he threw the second pick to, but there was like 4 people around him. Like, it was so obvious.
Smith. Well, Smith. He was en route to go behind the receiver, but
Nabers
he changed and cut. Nabers was on a slant, but if you look, at the same time he released the ball, Nabers was open.
Yeah. Yep.
That's your brand. Like, I was literally watching it, and I was like, "That's your brand new toy," and you left it in the goddamn sandbox.
Yeah. Yep. And I hate to say it, but Dakota's right. He sees ghosts. Ghosts.
Zoinks.
Like, they're like. And this is why I say it as far as that. And again, I don't mean this to give him a cop out and give him an excuse, but we've ruined this kid. He sees people that aren't there, that are attacking him. He's like, 50,000 times bitten. Now he's shy. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, he's been hit how many times?
Listen, Sam Darnold, the Jets ruined that guy.
Yeah.
Same with Geno Smith.
I still question if he was good coming in, but I mean,
he looked good coming in today.
He didn't, but we'll get to that in a minute.
But what I was gonna ask, like, we ruined him. But I think if he goes somewhere else, he sits behind. Say he goes Kansas City as a backup. You sit there and let him learn behind. Not that he's learning behind Mahomes, but obviously he's one of the best. I'm just using him because
he's saying Daniel Jones as a backup.
Yeah, as a backup.
No, he's done.
Yeah, he's going to be a backup somewhere. He's going to be a backup. Absolutely. He's not a Giant. He's going to be a backup.
How many times did you see him escape a goddamn sack and then just run into somebody else to get sacked today?
It happened quite a bit. But
my dad was saying, I think he's colorblind. I think he just doesn't know what uniform he's running the wrong side. I mean, it's like insanity.
It was nuts.
Something makes no sense in that scenario. Like, the one was the obvious play where the pass rusher went right unabated to him. He managed to step up and have the guy go behind him, and then he continues to go forward until he runs right into somebody on the team. It's like he was like, it's like if the guy went running off and he was running to go hug him. Like, what are you doing? Stop!
Love me.
Like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. Like, this is like regression for a guy who already didn't look good. Regression the last 2 years that just, whew. Guys, like, this is, I'm done. I am done. That's how pissed off I'm getting. Like, honestly, I'll tell you guys point blank, if it wasn't for the fact that we had this podcast, and I don't want to BS you guys and make it seem like I watched the game I didn't watch, I would have shut the goddamn thing off.
I would have
left the bar early, gone home, and done shit at the house. That's how pissed I was watching this game.
I would have done either that or hit the bottle.
I was at a bar. I'm not gonna lie. I had a couple, but I had to drive home, so I had a couple beers the first half, and that's it. But that bourbon was calling my name. It's like, hello, you're watching the
Uncle
Giants.
Jimmy.
Wouldn't you like some bourbon?
Uncle Jimmy, can you hear me?
I actually thought about having some before the show, but I was like, no, let me stay sober for this one. All right, guys, let's get off Daniel Jones. We all know. Listen, it's obvious. We know he's crap. Let's be honest. Let's just move on. Let's just accept it. Move on. Let's get into our next topic here. Before we do that, though, guys, all you all that are watching here, appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't already, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Great way to go ahead and support us that way there. Let's get into the next topic, which is the big thing a lot of people wanted to see coming into this game. And that's Malik Nabers. I'm trying to give you guys something positive here. This is a great way to give something positive because Malik Nabers, 5 catches, 66 yards. I'm not going to sit there and say he dominated. That'd be insane to say. But the guy didn't look bad at all. Like, imagine if he actually had a good quarterback throwing him the ball.
I was going to say, he put up a third of the stats on the day on receiving yards.
Yeah.
Which, granted, Wandale had a few passes. Same with Slayton. They spread the ball out. Theo Johnson got the ball. There were some picks over to the tight end room. But Malik did look good when he was used. And that was it. Used. Because I said it before, he's a brand new shiny toy that you kind of left in the sandbox. There was plenty of opportunities.
Good Disney there.
That he could have been used that we didn't use him. And it's not his fault.
No.
He made some good catches off of bad throws. He also missed a catch off of bad throw, which was technically counted as a drop, but it's also way above your head in double coverage, but we're not going to get into that part.
But on the game, 5 catches, 66 yards. Now, Rob, I love doing the math. If he did that every game, that's 1,122 yards. You can't not call that a successful rookie year.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Anytime you have a receiver who does 1,000+ yards, especially as a rookie, they did a good job.
And again, we talked about leading up to the game. He was going against Stephon Gilmore. It wasn't like he was playing a nobody out there. I mean, I know Gilmore's a little up there in age. He's probably not nearly the corner he was in the past. But that's a good game. And I got to say this. I absolutely love the fact that he came out at the beginning of the game and went ahead and wear the Ray Flaherty shirt to go ahead and show respect to the family that allowed him to wear the number 1.
Yeah.
Like that's a legit respect move. And I don't know if that was a PR move by a team, by his people, Giants people, whoever, or if he came up with that his own. Because I'll be honest, I've never seen a Ray Flaherty shirt before in my entire life. So I feel like that was custom made.
Probably was.
But that's a legit, thoughtful move. Seriously, somebody put thought into that. They said, how do we show appreciation for this? That's a thoughtful move. And I got to say, I like that. So, I just wanted to point that out as well, that it was extremely classy. But listen, I think that, as Deb said, they said Nabers designed the shirt. So there we go. I thought so. Like I said, it had to be a custom shirt. I just, unfortunately, the bar had no closed captioning or anything, which is kind of fortunate / unfortunate. It was kind of nice, but yeah, like I said, he looked good. There was a couple balls that they kind of jumped. He jumped up to get even at that point there. You saw the obvious talent. You saw the fact that he's a talent that obviously seems to warrant a 6th overall pick. I'm excited for him. I still am. I just wish we had somebody who could throw him the ball.
Yeah, sadly.
And I'm telling you right now, if you get Tommy DeVito, I'm not trying to beat this drum here. You get Tommy DeVito in there. If there's one thing DeVito proved last year, he has no problem slinging the rock. He may not be the best quarterback out there, but he's not going to play scared like DJ did. And I'm telling you that Nabers, I think, after watching what he did in preseason, watching what he did here, looking at tape leading up to the draft, what he did at LSU, I think he's that kind of quarterback that you can that kind of receiver that you can just throw the damn ball to. Just throw the ball. He's going to go Keyshawn on it. Throw me the damn ball. He'll get it done.
He'll be like Jamar Chase before Joe Burrow got hurt and this season, because he kind of didn't play that well today. But I'm always open. Just throw me the ball.
Just throw with the ball. He's open. Even when he's not, he's open. I really think he's going to be that good. And if he really is, you get somebody who's not afraid to throw the ball, and you're going to see a different element to this offense. Because I'm telling you, he was open when it wasn't throwing the ball. Hell, I saw Darius Slayton a couple times wide open deep down the field at that point, also not getting the ball as well.
Well, yeah. How many times did we throw it in the first half over the sticks? Over 10 yards.
Not very often.
Not very often. I think I counted 3.
And here's the problem with that. When you don't throw the ball past the sticks, like you're saying, you have to throw them in stride. so they have a chance to get the yak yards and get that first down.
Yeah, and also
going right back to DJ bashing.
I am, because
we can't help ourselves. We can't help ourselves.
Listen, I get a good run game sets up the pass game, but when your pass game is to throw it like you're running into the ball, it doesn't do anything. You're missing the point.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm trying to keep it somewhat positive. Nabers look good. I'm not going to sit there and sugarcoat it and make it seem like this is a good game. I'm just saying, in the end, Nabers looked good. And I think that in the end, you get a quarterback that's not afraid, not shell-shocked, not seeing ghosts, as Dakota said, and you're going to see a different team. And I don't think, listen, 28-6. Let's take out the pick six for a second. We lost 21-6 in that case here. You don't think that a couple of those times that we settled for field goals, that even an okay quarterback would have got a couple touchdowns there?
Oh, look, I mean, the first two times they're in the red zone, what happened? We settled for a field goal and a pick.
I'm still saying this, and again, I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. For those who may have never watched this program again, because we're not egotistical to think that everybody's watched this nonstop. We appreciate all that have, appreciate new people here, but I am not the optimistic person here. Rob is. Of the two of us, Rob is usually the one who's the optimistic one. I'm telling you right now, I still, and this is going to sound freaking crazy, I know it, I still don't think this team is as far off as a lot of people think. Because if you take out the quarterback and you put even a halfway decent quarterback, this game would have been a reach, I think.
Oh, 100% would. Just even if DJ played 50% better, this game would have been like in the hands. It's just so many open receivers not taking advantage of, so many deep balls just not thrown. Like, just what's it, we're bashing DJ again, but like so many missed opportunities because you didn't feel comfortable throwing the ball. Yeah, and that's what I took away mostly from this game. You gotta. I'm like, telling you, it's insane. There's other things, and we're gonna get into like about the special teams, the defense. Like, there's a lot of things that I took away from this game, but my God, not throwing the ball is what killed this ball game. And when you throwing it, to the actual person who's wide open, not the person who's triple covered. Yeah, and hitting them in stride. Again, it's just like it took you fourth quarter to get high in the game when you're down 3 scores. Like, and he didn't do a damn thing either. Let's say he had a drop catch. Yeah. Let's talk about another receiver that we can at least talk positive about somewhat, I think. And that's Wandale Robinson. Wandale Robinson, guys, had 6 catches in the game. Rob and I said a lot of crazy things, as we do pretty much every single game. We said Wandale Robinson is a 100-catch guy. Yes. 6 catches will put you on pace for 102 yards. 102 catches a year. What's crazy, though, is when he had 44 yards. He'd be like probably the lowest yardage total ever if he had that kind of season for somebody with that many catches. Yeah, that put him at 748 yards. Could you imagine 102 catches and 748 yards this season? I mean, the one plus I did see the way they used him is it was almost Samuel, it's almost Deebo, like, if you will, Deebo Samuel over in the Niners. Like, they used him in the backfield, and he did a couple like crazy, like audible moves, like in the back, and it worked out for positive yards. Was it a lot? No, but it was positive when instead of giving Singletary the ball or whoever, and then getting like on the yard line 2 yards. Like, I think that one play where he did like a little play action in the back, if you will, and sent it out. What did he get? Like 8 yards off that? And this is why when we talked about not hitting people in stride before. That's what I mean by this. Wandale is the guy, you hit him in stride, he can break it. We saw how many times last year. Not enough because he was hurt for the first half of the year. But this is a guy who can make something happen. And you got to hit him in stride because he's not going to be the guy you throw 20 yards down the field. I mean, it's not that it's never going to happen, but he's the short yardage guy, the slant guy, he's the hook route guy. Like, that's what he's the yak. He is the yak guy. And you can't get yak when you don't get the ball thrown to you in stride correctly. You just can't. Like, I don't understand. Like, Listen,
this is moves that a Pop Warner quarterback could have made. Like
they talked about the positivity about Sam Darnold going to the Niners, sitting behind them, and coming back, starting job. Is one of the biggest takeaways that he talked about is just get your playmakers the ball. You don't need to make the play. Give it to your playmakers. That's all DJ has to do. When you talk about Wandale, that's all he has to do. Look what happens in the backfield. You hand it off to him, plus 8 yards.
I feel like, like really, Wandale could be like our Debo. He could be our Debo.
That's 100%. When I saw that play, because he caught the ball earlier, like he got the short catches. Debo's not the guy that goes down the field that often and gets deep catches. Like he's not. Njoku's more that guy, but he does it in the slant. But he's a guy that's a flex spot, and he's so athletic, and he's just so hard to cover. Yeah. Granted, Wandale's not as big as Samuel. And he's not the same built, if you will.
No. But
he has a similar talent.
You hit him in stride, and he can do something with it. But you have to hit him in stride. You can't be having him go back to the ball. He's lost all momentum. A proper yak move at that point, where like these slant routes, like I said, like those goes kind of stop and go with the 5 yard. Like all of that stuff is based on hitting the person in stride where the momentum is going for them.
Correct.
You cannot do that kind of move when you have to stop, slow down, go back to the ball, and then start right back up again. Anything you got as far as beating your cover guy, he's caught up to you. Full on, he's caught up to you. And this is why you got a guy who had 6 catches for 43 yards.
He didn't take advantage of his talent.
Absolutely insanity, guys. Like, absolutely insane. And again, I think you get a quarterback that actually isn't scared and is doing things right. This fixes this, and we got Chucky here from Facebook. I'm going to put his comment up because we're kind of talking about it right now. He said, can anyone see anything we improved in from last year?
Yes.
That's what it is. To me, I feel like we have the receiving weapons now.
I feel like we have line. Yes, that offensive line developed a pocket.
You know what? Let's go into that because that's the next topic anyway. We're already going into it. The offensive line.
Yeah. They literally and we went 3 and out, but DJ had time and that first go. Like the first time the Giants had the ball, there was a pocket. It was 2 and 10, and you just see him there. I've never seen that man have time.
There was a lot of pockets. The biggest issue was Daniel Jones would run into the other team.
Yeah.
Running into the other team. Like, what the I'm trying to cuss so we don't get demonetized by YouTube too. Really, what I want is say FFFF.
Yeah. We can't have the therapy of last year.
We can't look at it last year because that's the way the last year. But it's like, seriously, like that offensive line did so much better, I thought, this time. He had time. And there was times, don't get me wrong, there was times that there was people that was free pass rushers towards him. I'm not trying to say there was perfect coverage like that. But I got to say this. Some of those times when you have somebody comes right off the line and goes right to the quarterback, guys, there's one of 2 things that causes that. A miscommunication with the offensive line, which I won't say is impossible. We're not in the huddle. We don't know the blocking schemes. I'm not going to sit there and say that's impossible, but it's either a miscommunication with the offensive line or it's the quarterback who didn't pick it up and adjust the protection. Correct. And based on what we've seen year in, year out from DJ, this makes me think this is what the scenario was. Again, I'm not in the huddle. I could be wrong, but that's what I see is I see a quarterback that has a pocket for most of this game. And every so often, somebody would go free 100%. And that makes me think that because we've seen this issue before, that DJ has, again, trouble reading the defenses pre-snap to go ahead and make the necessary adjustments. And I'm just freaking done with it. I'm absolutely done with it because this offensive line, while I still think they're going to have a little trouble run blocking because they're not, some of these guys aren't the best at run blocking. Pass blocking wise, guys, there was a pocket. This was not women's pants. There was a pocket, goddammit.
And
It frustrates me to no end to see a pocket, to see the offensive line for once doing what the hell they got to do. And us having a quarterback that is scared to throw the ball down the field and not hitting guys in stride and throwing the ball to the wrong goddamn team.
Yeah.
Guys, 2 games, 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 2 pick sixes.
So take back the no touchdown thing because he threw 2. Just to the wrong team.
Yeah. Absolutely ridiculous, guys. But like I said, again, I'm trying to give you guys some encouragement stuff here too, because it's not all as bad as this game looked. Because I really think, and I hate to ever put a win or a loss on one guy. I really do, because it is a team sport. But that's what this was about, guys. This was about the quarterback this game. This was all about the quarterback. And I'm telling you right now that this was a winnable game with a different quarterback. I'm not going to say we would have won it outright. I'm not sitting there saying this team is amazing. This team is great. I don't think this team is nearly as bad as it looks like today.
No.
It's all the quarterback. And I feel bad for the offensive line because we finally got an offensive line together. We finally got their craft together there. And they did not look good at all. And Josh, I see your comment there about the defense. We're going to get to them in a little bit here. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
But
we said their defense.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, their defense. Yeah. No, their defense isn't that good. We've talked about that leading up to the Vikings defense isn't great, guys. They lost their best pass rusher and Daniil Hunter, who was it's an amazing player. The Texans are lucky to get him. You know, it's just, guys, woo. Talk about a frustrating game here. Talk about a frustrating game. Like, thoroughly, this is just insanity. As we see, it's so frustrating. Rob just left us. That's what happened. It's that frustrating for him that Rob just left us. Let's get into the defense here. Before we do, guys, again, I hate to keep beating this dead horse there, but I want to see new people. I want to always mention, of course, guys, if you like the show, appreciate if you can hit that hit that thumbs up. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe, share it to a friend. It really helps us get everything rolling here. Let's talk about the pass rush, guys, because that's another thing that I got to say is just under my skin right now, guys. We spent a lot of capital. We spent a lot of time trying to get this pass rush going. As Rob's over his frustration, he's back. We went out and traded for Brian Burns, who we talked about at the time. I have no problem with the trade. I don't dislike the trade. I hate the contract we gave him. We gave him a shnikey load of money. We paid him like a 15 guy who's never had 10 sacks. Let's be honest. Guys, did you see a pass rush today? Did I miss one? There was a little bit there in the second half. There was a little bit in that second half. As Josh said, I said we signed him. I'm sorry until proven otherwise. I think his Burns overhyped. I'm with you on that, Josh, for the record.
We got burnt on Burns.
We didn't, though. You paying somebody $30 million a year who's playing like a $18 million player. $20 million player, maybe.
Yeah, burnt on Burns.
He's not. He did not definitely not play up to this. He did definitely not pay up to be a third. And again, it's week 1, guys. I don't want to overhype this and say that like Brian Burns can't turn around. But can you guys point to one play with him that like, oh, Brian Burns really made a difference with this? Yeah,
the only time is when they called the personal foul that should have been against Thibodeaux, but they called out number 0.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I gotta see something, guys. I gotta see something from a guy I'm paying $30 million. Not me personally, but obviously, but we're paying $30 million a year to.
I'm in the NFL. I'm wearing a Giants hat, Giants shirt. I have Giants jerseys hanging up there. I paid part of his salary.
Listen, it's.
So I'm like the guy that just got pulled over saying to the cop, "I paid part of your salary."
I'm not even wearing my Flavor Flav here because it's that bad today. I'm not even wearing it. But what I'm looking at is a $30 million pass rusher on one side, I'm looking at a top 5 overall pick on the other side. And goddamn, guys. We were disappearing in the game.
Yeah.
Absolutely disappearing. I mean, I get Thibodeaux. It wasn't the Commanders. He couldn't do anything. But I'm just saying, like, at what point do you go, we have a really hyped duo, pass rushers, and they just didn't do a damn thing. Didn't do a damn thing in this game.
And once again, like it is week 1. We do got new defensive corner. We do got new schemes going on because playing under weeks is a lot different from playing under, the new matchup we have now. And then you got a new guy on the edge who's never played as a Giant before, doesn't know what he's doing over here. Tibbs is still young. Granted, he's a junior at this point, so he should be coming too, which doesn't help the case I'm trying to make. But there's a little bit of a learning curve.
Listen, so Brian Burns is well used to playing on a crappy team. He played for the Panthers. He's well prepared for Giant life right now.
Yeah. Although, like, we were texting during the game. We were texting. You and I were texting each other during the game, and Sexy Dex. And the second play of the defense got a set.
Yep.
So I'm watching this, and I'm like, all right, maybe the edge situation. I'm not that worried because maybe they're setting up and everyone's watching about these guys and forgetting about Sexy Dex up the middle, or they're going to set each other up through the year. Like, I'm not that concerned over after week 1, another game or two. I can be a little more critical about it, but week 1, sometimes people have off weeks.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do this. I don't know if you have the box score open or not there. I'm going to ask you a question. Let's see if you know this.
I do not.
Top of your head. Okay, good. How many tackles do you think Kayvon Thibodeaux had in this game?
Single digits.
How many do you think? Take a wild stab.
4.
I'm going to give you a hint. It's 4 less than that.
I thought maybe there was some that I saw out there that maybe he possibly
didn't have a single tackle in the game. Didn't have a single tackle. You know what? The times I saw the edge rushers the most is when they were running right past the running back.
Pretty much.
Like, I saw a lot of that. Guys getting into the backfield, not being able to take down the running back. That's what I kept seeing. That's the only time I saw edge rushers. Yeah, like this guy's. That's got to improve. That's got to. And again, it's week 1. We're not sitting here saying that's impossible to improve. The only thing we're giving up fully on is DJ. Everything else we're saying, hopefully that's just a bad game. Hopefully whatever. And we all know Kayvon has thrived against bad offensive lines, kind of disappears against good offensive lines. The Vikings don't have a bad offensive line. We hope that streak, discontinues and he just, shows up in bigger games again. But that's where he's at right now. That's the player he's been. So, I'm not saying I'm giving up on this duo. I'm not saying they were overhyped yet, but that wasn't a first game for them.
No, it wasn't a good taste.
First game. I don't think we can sit there and say that's a good start. We can definitely sit there and say it's a disappointing start to that duo there. So let's talk
real fast. Wait a second. Let's talk about Aaron Jones running against us.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Okay. So yes, let's go for it.
Boom.
You're segueing. You didn't even realize it.
I was. Look at me go. Boom. Should have read some notes.
There you go. If only they were somewhere like on a document called episode notes or something. But yeah, let's talk about them as far as stopping the run, because we talked about that pregame there. We thought that the Giants would focus on stopping the run, being with Sam Darnold being in there and going, you know what, stopping Sam Darnold should be pretty easy. let's go ahead and try to stop the run and make them one-dimensional with the quarterback that's not the best. Well, that didn't work out great, guys. Aaron Jones, 14 carries, 94 yards. It's a 6.7 yards per carry average and a touchdown.
He also had 2 receptions. Only thrown twice, caught twice for another 15 yards.
Yeah.
But they also made him fumble for 5. So,
yeah. But the fumble gets taken away, basically, mentally taken away when you allow a guy to have, a 6.7 yards per carry average. That's not good. So
Aaron Jones is similar to a Barkley situation over in Green Bay. He's been with them, 7 years? I think 7 years at this point.
I don't look it up, but it feels like.
But he's.
Really
like 6 or 7 years.
I think he was drafted in. Was he drafted in 18? I think. Let me see.
So that would be 6 years.
17. He was drafted in 17. So yeah, he did play 7 years with the Packers.
So good back. Anyone that does fantasy knows that guy typically healthy, puts up numbers, catches the ball in the backfield. And typically when the Giants in previous times seen a player that does something like that, they let them go wild to get 150 yards the past couple years. And we held them to 110, 100. It's not good, but it's also not terrible from where we were.
I'm not taking any positivity out of that. I'm sorry, I can't.
Aaron Jones got taken away from Green Bay because they thought he was Asian, but he kind of proved himself that he still got what it takes. So it's not positive.
He's still aging. He's still 29 years old.
It's not positive for Giants, but I mean, we don't know how he's aging because we only saw one game this season. He still could have a great year. He could be like King Henry or an AP of the league. We don't know that yet. That's the only thing I'm trying to take away. That's the only hope I have. Also, because I have him on my fantasy in the league. Yeah,
I'm just saying, he's still an aging running back. He's still a guy that they thought was pretty much washed up. So, but he looked good, and I don't know, how much you give to him and how much you give to the defense in this whole thing. But yeah, it's guys. I was hoping we'd be good at stopping the run. I really thought Dexter Lawrence being up the middle at that point, Bobby Okereke doing his thing, we'd look better against the run. We did not look good against the run, and I don't know what what we have left.
I wasn't saying we looked good. I just
but I'm saying it's just disappointing. It's disappointing because I'm not so sure how tough of a matchup that really was for us to start the season. Because again, like you said, he's aging out. Aaron Jones was kind of aging out of the league. At least it was in the Packers' eyes, and they let him go and upgraded at this point to Jacobs this past offseason. Well,
he didn't look like an upgrade on Friday.
He didn't look bad. I'm just saying he did not look bad.
Yeah, I watched the game.
No, I'm saying Jones. He didn't look bad. He didn't look bad at all in this game. This is a guy that could kind of provide a security blanket for Sam Darnold if he plays this way, like he did this whole season. But
yeah,
as a Giants fan, I'm a little worried because I thought that we'd stop him. We couldn't stop him. We made him look really good. We made him look like when he was younger with the Packers. He only had 14 carries. It's not like he ran the ball 20 times or 25 times. And we almost gave him 100 yards at that point in rushing. He was over 100 when you include the receiving. He was 109 yards in total.
Yeah, fancy, not a fancy, coaches, if you will. I've known about Aaron Jones, and he's the guy, especially a few years back. He would be the one that run 150 yards against bad defense. 160 yards against bad defense plus reception yards. He's been known to put up close to 200 yards, total yards against a bad defense.
Yeah.
Depending on what you're doing. So, he is Asian. Yes. We held him to a little over 100 yards, and how bad we've been against the run. It's not a full win per se, but I took it away as a little bit of a could have been worse.
Yeah, it could have been worse. but it could have been a whole lot better. It could have been, a whole lot better. And I'm not too happy with that as, a first week against the run. When I was hoping for a better run stopping, I was hoping for us to go ahead and, look like a decent defense, guys. And it just wasn't. It wasn't. We didn't do a good job there. So let's talk about another guy we wanted to look at there, because we talked about another guy that I was really curious to see what he would do against a very good receiver. That's Deontay Banks going up against Justin Jefferson. And guys, I got to say mixed results, I think, is probably the best way to word it. Like, am I crazy for saying that? Like, did Justin Jefferson go off? No. Did Sam Darnold throw the ball deep, and was it an exciting game where you're throwing the ball like crazy? Though, no. And that's part of what I got to look at. So he only had 4 receptions on the day for 59 yards and a touchdown with Justin Jefferson there. 2 of those 4, though, I can look back on and remember exclusively as being one-on-one matchups there with Deontay Banks and him getting beat pretty bad, including the touchdown.
Yes, big time.
But I got to say, the fact that the touchdown happened, that's on Shane Bowen. That's not on Deontay Banks. Like, you got a 4th down play. You have to get in the end zone. Who do you think you're giving the ball to? You're probably giving the ball to Justin Jefferson.
You're probably should be really doing some pressing and some double coverage.
There should have been exactly that. There should have been 2 guys at the line on him, forced them to throw the ball somewhere else.
Correct.
But at the same point, it's like I look at it and go, okay, he got beat, he got burnt bad in that play. It's also Justin Jefferson, though,
who is arguably
who's arguably got burnt that way.
Yeah, I mean, who's better than him in this league currently? There's not many. You arguably say he's a top 3 receiver,
but he's top 2.
Tyreek Hill.
It's him or Tyreek Hill. That's it.
Yeah,
there's no third.
Hill. Well, you know what also didn't happen with Justin Jefferson? He did not have an 8-yard touchdown.
Oh,
but he also didn't have an 8-yard touchdown pass today, like Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, but I mean,
he's like, oh, look at these cuffs.
And that's what I'm getting at. The Dolphins were in a close game, and the Dolphins kept on throwing the ball up because they were in a close game. This was not a close game, guys, for the Vikings. They stopped throwing the ball deep. They were running the ball more often. They were doing a dink and dunk offense. They were just kind of killing the clock. This wasn't close at any point. And that's why I'm saying it's kind of a mixed bag with Banks, because we didn't see as much as we would have seen in a tighter game, obviously, as far as throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson. But again, he didn't go off. If you can give Justin Jefferson 4 catches for 59 yards, it's kind of a win, guys.
Listen, if you're a fancy owner of JJ, you're pissed watching this game.
Yeah.
You're expecting 20 points, and he got you a good old, maybe a 10-pointer.
Yeah, but I mean, that's my thing, though, is I'm looking at it, and Josh here puts up the comment as well. He could have had way more, and that's where I'm kind of leaning towards like an incomplete grade for Deontay Banks as far as what he can do against them, because they didn't throw the ball to him that much. It's not like I can sit there and say, oh, well, Deontay Banks really shut him down. No, they just stopped throwing the ball to him. They didn't need to.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I would probably give Banks maybe a B-, possibly a C+ on the day. Like, the reason I say B- is because you got to give him a little extra, because he did a lot of zone, right? And when he did man, he was against JJ. JJ, listen, he's a stud in this league. He's fantastic. And you held him under 60 yards and 1 touchdown.
Yep.
There's multiple games that he's played in where he's had multiple touchdowns, 100+ yards. So you stopped him for him. You didn't stop the player in total, but you stopped him. But when he was in zone and his obvious run plays, he also helped get the run out of bounds or tackle the runner. And he came up. That's why I went from a C+ to a B-.
He was good in that. And, you saw Drew Phillips come up as well. And you saw Dory Jackson get burnt because he weakly went after running back on a play as well. I think it was Jones. I can't remember who that was at that point. But, these kids that Shane drafted, they are corners that come up and play the run. And you got to give them that part, I guess. But, I don't know. Honestly, I look at this game, and I think what annoys me the most in this whole thing is I'm becoming, as a Giant fan, more and more, I don't want to say anti, because it's like I still root for the guy because, again, he's a Giant. I'm becoming less supportive, I guess is maybe the best way to word it, of Joe Schoen. Can you tell me one guy that Joe Schoen drafted that made a difference in this game?
I mean, I hear what you say, but also
he's had 3 years though. I'm saying legit. Like, name me one guy.
Malik Nabers.
Okay, the guy who's his first game, he was a 6th overall pick, and the obvious one.
You said one guy.
I hear you.
But also what he's done.
Serious,
but also what he's done is this offseason he made different moves. Yes, we watched Barkley get 3 touchdowns in Brazil. All right. That's us, right? We watched, McKinney kind of I shouldn't say shut down the Eagles because the Eagles did win, but he played good that game. We let them go, but also we freed up $40 million a year because of that, $35 million a year, and we made a lot of moves on that offensive line.
Yeah,
that was never the way it was before. We made moves on the defensive line, so. Yes, you can sit there and nitpick the draft picks, and it is a gamble. Some people get hurt, some people don't pan out. But Thibodeaux, it's after week 1. That's a position you don't come out as a rookie looking great. So if it's by the bye week and this is how they're all still playing, then I could probably get closer to jumping on your bandwagon. But seeing this game where it wasn't our Sunday.
Yeah,
obviously, I don't know if I could jump on the bandwagon and bash Shane.
It's not, but I'm saying, hold on, I want to be clear on this. It's not bashing. It's showing concern for what he's done to this team. I want to be very clear. I'm not going to bash the guy because he's a Giant, and I want to support him because of the fact he's a Giant. He is the GM. This is 30 year.
I hear you. So
look at the trap. But I'm saying, Kayvon Thibodeaux, 0 tackles. Evan Neal didn't even play in the game. At least I didn't see him pop. Maybe he popped it as a 3rd tackle. I missed it. So
I don't think so.
If I'm wrong, someone feel free to correct me. I didn't see him once, and I'm glad on that, by the way. I hate to say it. Cordell Flott gave up that horrible touchdown. Wandale, good. I'm happy with Wandale. I'm not blaming Wandale in this game at all. Bellinger dropped an obvious pass. Has looked bad. Has looked worse since his rookie year. Dane Belton. I didn't see anything out of him really this game. Go. I mean, I'm just saying, it's. Oh my god. It's just I feel like this is the problem.
I understand.
You can't draft correctly when you have quality draft picks. You're not going to have a good team.
You're right, but also if your coaching staff is not coaching them up properly. So we would talk about Evan Neal, and we talk about how bad that offensive line has been for years, and we finally get rid of the offensive line coach, get a new coach in. We revamp that offensive line. Looks way better. There's no argument there. Way better than last year.
And I'm curious as you watch. We're talking about Shane draft picks. I haven't got a chance, obviously, to watch all 22, watch that kind of stuff because the game just ended an hour ago here. I'm curious to see JMS. That's what I'm curious about.
Me too.
Because I want to see how he looked in this game. And I have, like I said, I plan on watching later on all 22 tape to see that kind of stuff because JMS is a guy that I still, we talked about it before, I'm still pretty high on him. I think he was the best center in that draft. But, let's throw Hyatt. Let's throw Hyatt into this mix. Hyatt, third round pick. Would he look good in this game? Only thing I remember is him dropping a pass.
I mean, he also wasn't thrown to until 42 minutes into the game.
Oh,
his first pass.
No, but
why? So that's
we drafted him to supplant Slayton. Let's be honest. We drafted him to supplant.
And what did Slayton have? What, 4 targets, 5 targets? But
my whole point is that he was at least on the field.
I understand what you're saying. So is Hyatt. My point is, like you're saying, this is all Slayton's fault. Saints fault. You said it's all Shane's fault.
No, like I said, I'm not saying it's all Shane's fault. What I'm saying,
you're talking about USC positive out of his
development from his guys, except for apparently the 2 wide receivers.
But at the same time, it also falls on the coaching who has not put those players into play. Like, it's not just a him; it's a unit thing that's going on. I don't know. So, like I said, after today, I'm not taking it as just the one.
I'm getting more and more down on Shane, and I think part of what it is, and guys, like I hate to let a TV show change my opinion of anybody, and I'm not going to say it changed it. Like I'm not going to go that far.
It opened my eyes, though. I'll go that far.
But when you see the way he acted on Hard Knocks. Is it just me, or do you guys think of him as kind of like a schmuck now? Like he seemed cocky as crud on that show, and yet, yeah, guys, Deontay Banks is I'm going just off 23 for a second. Deontay Banks, we talked about him being kind of a mixed bag in this game. JMS, again, we have to look at that. I'm willing to say JMS didn't play necessarily so bad. Jalen Hyatt barely played. Eric Gray barely played. Trey Hawkins. I mean, Owens, is he on the practice squad now? I mean, this is a whole year of 1 year ago.
Gray, I mean, I think I saw him once or twice out there, but I do recall him get 8 yards on the first down.
He had 2 carries for 6 yards and a catch for 9 yards. So he had 3 touches on the game, but for 14 yards, obviously for 15 yards in total.
Yeah, not a good day, obviously. But the only time I recall seeing Gray was that one play.
This is my frustration. I didn't go to this year's because of the fact that this year's draft picks is their very first game in the NFL. But we're going through players in the last 2 drafts. But a lot of misses, guys. A lot of misses. And I'm not going to sit there and say he's worse than Gettleman. I'm not going to say that. But I'm seeing a lot of misses, guys. And it's starting to scare me the way we've been drafting the last couple of years. Because we didn't like Gettleman. And I get why. I Gettleman, especially the way he threw out money in free agency, was a horrible GM. Let's be very frank, was a horrible GM. And I'm not going to put him in that category. But Joe Shane's draft picks are really starting to scare me more and more. And like Spaz says, get rid of Dable, tired of the BS. I actually like Dable. That's the weird thing. I would actually be open to keeping Dable. And if this continues, which hopefully it doesn't, and hopefully this is all just us overreacting to week 1. But if it continues, I would mind getting rid of Shane and keeping Dable if whoever replaces Shane likes to keep Dable.
It was actually funny because I was thinking that halfway through the game because obviously you saw some difference. You saw a difference in his schemes, especially in the second half of offensive play calling. And who took it over? Obviously, Dable did this year, which now we can't blame Kafka about the plays being called in the short little deke and dunks, which is another thing we have to look at as well as the time goes on. So
we get the question also: the dink and dunks, were they Kafka's fault or DJ's fault based on how the game went today? Because you can see the way the plays were designed. Guys were open downfield. And you saw it. And I didn't see the press conference for Dable afterwards, but there was a comment here, if I can find it here, that Deb had said. Here he goes. She says Dable was asked about not calling plays downfield. My interpretation of his answer was plays were called but changed by who Jones. I'll have to see if I can find the comment and see exactly what he said. But Deb's obviously regular with us, and she's pretty on the ball as far as stuff going on with the Giants there.
Deb, you're a stud.
If Jones was changing plays on Dable and things he was calling, it's just crazy. Stan says, Drew and Rob, the NFL, all the drafts are a crapshoot. All pros come from everywhere. High picks, low picks, undrafted. More than 50% of the first rounders are bust. But yeah, here's the thing, Stan, you're not wrong.
Not wrong.
It's a gamble. It's a gamble. But here's what happens when you have a gambler who is a professional gambler, and I use that term very loosely because most of that is just addicts, but let's be honest there. But a professional gambler is
you become a professional gambler.
He loses, correct?
That's what makes him a professional, not an addict.
But I'm just saying, and he says when I say bust, I mean not starting after 3 years. You tell me somebody who's producing right now from that first draft that Shane had, minus Wandale.
Thibodeau's he's gonna have year 4.
But I'm saying producing right now. Like he did not look good this game. He didn't have a single tackle. And again, I talked about the show before. I know, Rob, you said the same thing. We're not going to attack Shane specifically for the Thibodeaux picks, and we're not going to attack him for the Evan Neal picks because most of us, let's be honest, were jumping up and down when we got those 2 players.
Yeah,
I don't want to do revisionist history and act like we were upset about it. We were ecstatic. We also didn't have access to the same information that Shane had. We also didn't have the interviews with Neal and Thibodeaux that Shane had. So he can take more blame than we can because he had more time and information than we did. But his drafts have been bad, guys, and it shows on the product on the field. It really does. It's just. Oof. Let's try to get this a little more positive. Because I'm trying to break this up a little bit for you guys here because I don't want to be that. Like Rob and I do not want to be that show that's negative. Because those are like, there's giant content creators who are like shock jocks at that point, just spend like hours on hours just talking about negativity because they know it feeds the negativity of Giants fans that are negative. And in a game like this, let's be honest, it's very obvious to go that route. Let's be very frank. It's very obvious to go, very easy to go that route. Let's talk about one more thing that's positive. And that's the Scottish Hammer. We got to talk about the Scottish Hammer. Jamie Gillan was probably the MVP of the game, guys. Let's be honest.
100%. You took the words right out of my mouth. I was ready to talk about special teams.
Must have been why you were kissing me.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Don't be sad.
Something.
Paradise by the Dash for Light. What's
no more meatloaf?
No more meatloaf. But here's what I'm looking at is 6 punts, 278 yards. First off, 6 punts is way too many. Let's just throw that there. Well, that's way too many. That's not Jamie Gillan's fault. But I bashed this guy so much 2 years ago when he had a really rough year that I feel like I have to go ahead and be really pointed out when he's done good. Jamie Gillan, 46.3 yard average. 4 of his 6 punts, guys, ended up within the 20. And
let's talk about that
one punt alone, and I'm assuming he's talking about the 1 yard line.
Dance. Yeah, the dance, the three-man dance, if you will.
There was a little tango going there, a little tango going at that. And guys, if we didn't do these shows live right afterwards, I'd give you the exact names because I would have gone back and watched the play to give you guys the exact names of who was involved with that. But there was 3 players that kept on handing the ball as they were about to go ahead and fall into the end zone, and that was listen, that's not a Gillan one. That's that I'm going to say. Kudos to the entire special teams the way that play was handled. Because that was excellent. And, one of the moves we made is obviously in the special teams. They're getting the new special team coordinator in and try to change some of the stuff up. That punt team looked amazing today as a whole. And it's sad when I'm really trying to find something positive to talk about. I'm having to go to the punt team, but still.
2 years ago, we bashed the special teams.
We did, and rightfully so. I'm not saying we were wrong back then. But we're not the team that we're not the the show that wants to go ahead and not give credit to where credit's due. And Gillen looked really good last year, and he's continued that this year. I'm going to throw this out there. I don't think that was his best punt. There was a second punt he had that he actually kicked the ball where it bounced way at like the 15-yard line. And he had a really good punt on that because it was a long punt. He angled it right where it went bounced out of bounds. He got to go out within the 20-yard line. Like I said, he deserves a lot of credit for what he did. He did a lot of positive today. And there's not a lot of guys that I can say on this team, the Giants team, that did a lot of positives. But Jamie Gillen, positive. And like I said, the whole punt team as a whole, positive. So there we go. So that's the positives we're giving you guys based on this game. And I hate to say it that way, but it's the two starting receivers, the offensive line, and the punt team.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. Like we were talking about before, but Gillian didn't look so hot 2 years ago, and you're calling his head, and then he revised himself. Absolutely. He looked great last year, but he looked a lot better this year than he did last year.
Yes,
like this game, like he looked like the special team stud. That's what he looked like.
He did. Like I said, let's give credit where credit's due. There, he looked good. Unfortunately, like I said, just the rest of the team didn't.
Yeah,
and that's the problem. So, as we leave here, because we're probably winding down here shortly. Rob, I got to ask you the question. I'm going to let you do this first. Has your outlook and your opinion on this season changed because of this game?
Yes and no. So my thoughts coming into this year, we're going to have a better defense than we've had years prior. Special teams looks better than what I anticipated coming into this year. Defense just about where I thought. I mean, I thought they could play better, but they all were also on the field a lot more than they should have been. So I'm not going to really dive in there. Seeing a sack right away and a turnover, it was nice that first quarter of play, and then they got all gassed out. My biggest takeaway was the offense, and that's where my biggest change comes in. I saw the first quarter through the whole game that offensive line looked way better. They helped a line, which is amazing. They fought the trenches. Too bad the person in the motor fight in the trenches, try to throw out your napalm and whatever you got to do in those trenches, threw it at his own line and didn't know what he was doing. That was my biggest takeaway. And I'm afraid we're going to look like the Atlanta Falcons of last year. But if we get 7 wins, I guess it'll be less than what I predicted. I guess I'll be happy. I'll still be happy.
Based on this game, I'd love to be the Atlanta Falcons last year.
Yeah.
Seriously. I think where I'm at here is I think what this season is going to come down to is, assuming there's not some crazy improvement next week or two, which I really don't see happening based on what I saw today.
We've got the Commanders next week.
Which is where DJ plays his best. But this season is probably going to be determined by how quickly we get rid of Jones. And that sounds horrendous. Absolutely horrendous to say that. I hate calling for someone's job like that, but I'm doing it in this case. We will not be good if we continue with Jones. And that's pretty obvious. We were hoping to get the 2022 version of Daniel Jones this year. And, I don't know what happened last year, but he changed entirely last year. Was, like I said, just had that battered quarterback syndrome. And he still has it this year. Probably worse, to be honest, because of the fact, he got hurt again last year a couple times. But, guys, he's been ruined. And I still think he deserves our respect because of the fact that we are the ones who ruined him. But it's time to make the move. it's time for him to move on. And it sounds like an overreaction to say at the week 1. And I'm going to tell you point blank, that sounds like an overreaction. But this is one of the rare cases I don't think it is. This is one of the rare cases when I can say, you know what? If this was a new quarterback or a new player in general, or maybe we only had him for a year or 2, it's year 6, guys. I'm done. I've been done. I've said it before. I'm ticked off to a certain degree. I didn't say it ticked off, but especially after this game, I'm going to say it today. I'm ticked off that they didn't bring legit competition in.
Yeah, listen, I would still be ecstatic if they brought in Winston.
Like I said, Winston would have been. I'm going to the offseason here for a second. Winston would have been an actual competition for Daniel Jones. Gardner Minshew would have been an actual competition for Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
What they did instead is, and if you look at the guys they were looking at, like they talked about, they were interested in Gardner Minshew, but they didn't really go after him hardcore. They didn't really, at least not what they showed in Hard Knocks.
No.
And the rest of the guys they had were guys that would not compete with Daniel Jones. Let's be honest. Tyrod Taylor was not competing with Daniel Jones. You weren't going to bench DJ right off the bat for Tyrod Taylor.
No.
What's going to happen? Drew Lock? You're not benching DJ for Drew Lock.
I think Drew Lock would have been better than Jones today.
I think anybody would have been better.
It's not saying much.
Rob, I think you would have been better as a quarterback today. Put Rob in coach.
Yeah.
He's ready to play.
Coach Rob's ready to go.
I'm just saying. Like, it's just, and Deb says many people did not think Jones was good at 6. Not sure we ruined him. I look at him and I look at the fact that he digressed so much over his time as a Giant. I just think it's there. I'm done. I'm at a lack of words almost at this point, which is bad as content creator. But that's where I feel like I'm just done and I'm fed up. Like, it's time. As we got Dash here in the chat as well. What's up, Dash? Says you can't have bad quarterback play and bad coaching. And guys, if you haven't already, go to Dash's channel, hit that like, subscribe. This man also another good content creator that knows his stuff. And for those maybe watching on the audio, Big Dash knows is his channel name. Guys, this, like I said, and I'm not sure. The only thing I'll slightly disagree with Dash on this one here when you say bad coaching, man. I'm not sure if it's bad coaching. And the only reason I'm not is I feel like the quarterback play was so bad, it's hard for me to evaluate the coaching.
Correct. And you got to sit back and I need to watch the press after this because we talked about Jones possibly was changing the plays at the line. And if he's changing plays at the line, that means the coaching is not being paid attention.
Like I said, I'm curious to see exactly what Dable said because she came back and said something on that. I'm sorry, we got a lot. I'm not complaining. We got a lot of comments. It's hard to go back, but that's a good thing. But I mean, let's see. Here we go. She said Dable didn't mention Jones changing the plays in the press conference. He just said changed. In other words, that kind of alluding that somebody didn't do exactly what what they
were told to do.
What they were told to do, and I don't know. As Dash said, I'll agree with me on that. Like I said, it's hard to evaluate Dable and his play calling because we saw people wide open down the field and just, he wasn't going for it, DJ.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's almost like I dreaded seeing the replays in these plays because I was watching that kind of stuff, and it's just like, yeah. And, it's just, I'm done. That's where I'm at. You got any final thoughts here, Rob? Because I don't want to. I feel like we're lingering here because it's just like we're just lamenting this game here.
Yes, Giant fans out there, listen. We got a lot to take away from this game, right? We got the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we've talked about all really that bad. Pretty much 1,000. We got some really bad stuff, but it's also week 1. We all looked at preseason and like, oh, can this player do this? Can they do that? And you go into regular season. It's a long season. we got plenty of time to make improvements. Maybe not at all positions, but like if we turn around and right now, a lot of the Giant fans out there coming into 6 hours ago thought we would be could probably get 9 wins, right? And that wasn't too crazy to say. Now everyone's jumping on the board saying we'll be lucky to get 4 wins. Like it's one game. Yep. Let's get a few more in us before we make some irrational thoughts about our season, because any given Sunday is a true thing, and sometimes it happens week 1, or we're just that bad, but probably not. Hopefully not.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what, Rob? You didn't remind me of something. I'm going to pay the bills real quick here, and then I'm going to come back with my final thoughts. Ooh. I'm blaming you. You're my scapegoat for this.
Enjoying the show? Looking for more goofball action? Consider a membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Memberships start at just $5 and give you additional goofball access. One-time support payments also available starting at just $3. buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.
Now, also, of course, keep in mind, guys, those who are on YouTube or Facebook, you also can do super chats and stars on Facebook as well. So anyway, you guys can appreciate the show. We definitely appreciate it. But the biggest way, really, honestly, guys, is hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the share. That's the biggest way, is getting the show out to more people. As we admit, we suck at marketing. We count on you guys to help us out here. So real quick, my final thoughts here. It all boils down to Jones. It really does. And there was a lot of ugly in this whole game here. Like I said, we're trying to give you guys some positive, but it's not a lot of positive here. There's a lot of ugly. You look at what's going on with this team overall. There's a lot of holes at this point, it seems. But again, I got to stress that I don't think that there's as many holes as this game looks to appear to have. I still think it's a lot of it Jones. And again, I hate using this man as the guy that we're going to blame on everything. But Daniel Jones makes everybody else in this offense look so much worse. And the defense didn't look great today, but it didn't look horrendous. Because you get take the one touchdown away, they give 21 points, guys. And I don't give a damn about how many yards, how many consecutive completions that Sam Darnold had, or whatever. I don't give a goddamn about that stuff. I really don't. All I care about is how many points we give up, because that's all that matters in the end. All that matters. And the offense was just so horrendous, and it's Daniel Jones. Like, the only thing that you can sit there and say look worse than Daniel Jones in this entire game is maybe the uniforms. Because I'm sorry, those uniforms I still got to say.
I am going to defend that it's absurd. DJ was way worse than those goddamn uniforms. I have Malik Nabers jersey coming in with wrong number.
I'm sorry.
Damn it.
You know what? The jerseys, I don't mind as much, though I still feel like polo jerseys. They look like a polo team. I'm sorry. They look like you're playing polo with it. Like, I'm waiting for someone to jump.
A team that played football in the 1930s. Either or.
Yeah, polo. That's why they played at the polo grounds back then. But you see these like mostly red uniforms, these like khaki pants, and they're like the Jake from State Farm of the NFL and these goddamn things, people. It's like, what the hell? Seriously, like red pants, blue pants would have made it better. That would have. But
or white,
I don't know about white. I don't know, but I think blue or red would have made it okay. I would have been okay with that.
I'm not in vogue or whatever fashion, whatever. But white's pretty universal. Although it's past Labor Day, so you're probably right.
Exactly, it's past Labor Day. Can't wear it. Didn't think about that. But yeah, guys, like I said, that's my main takeaway really is DJ. He's a problem. And until we fix the problem, this is what we're going to deal with. And I don't think that you're going to see him change for next week. I really don't. But I just wonder what kind of leash does he have? At what point does Dable go, sit down with Shane and say, you know what? We were hoping he played better. He ain't. He got to go. And he's got to just ride the bench until we can cut him next year. At what point? I don't know what the appropriate answer is for this.
You're not doing it after week 1. That's
yeah.
Listen, if you want to cut him loose, you don't want to cut him loose. He's your highest paid quarterback. He is right now.
He's the highest paid player.
He didn't show it, but he's possibly the best option we have out of the three. Possibly.
No. After today, especially, no. He's the third best option.
Before you do that, you got to give him another game or two. And listen, if it's after
I gave him 5 years, I'm done.
You did. You're not wrong.
One good year out of 5, and his best asset that year was his legs.
And Barkley.
Well, but I'm saying towards the stretch it was him because he played bad defenses. That's what got him that contract. I'm sorry, I'm still saying it, but I'm done. That's where I think that sums up my feelings right now. I'm just exhausted with DJ, and I'm done.
Well, what should be done is they're not having to talk today. It's like, hey, get in the shower. Hey, team meeting. We all suck. Tomorrow morning, Dable should call Jones into his office. Hey, we're going to give you a shot at this. But you play like you did yesterday, guess what? You're in the hot seat, buddy. You're not starting all year. Like, the conversation has to get started. Like, hey, like we're gonna evaluate you against the Commanders. We know you played well against the Commanders, but which he turns around, he doubles his numbers minus the interceptions, put those in touchdowns. We're all going to praise this guy. But he goes around and does it again. Week 3. Who's week 3? Browns? Which is not going to be pretty for Jones.
I know the schedule up in front of me, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the Browns, which is one of the best defenses last year, at least in the NFL.
Arguably the best defense last year. So
Deb says you're too nice.
I am too nice. What can I say?
He's a sweetheart.
Robbie Sweetheart. Oh.
I'm the one all riled up. Like, no, I'm done with Jones. Like, but it's the truth. Like, and I feel like the Giants were done with Jones this offseason as well. I really do. I feel like that's the scenario. But they just didn't feel like there was a good enough option for them to go get. And listen, guys.
So then you're not done with
plenty of money. But no. But what I'm saying is, it's like it's like.
You know you should move on. So you're saying we're dating a chick.
No. I know you're about to go dating thing. No, I'm not going to go that round. Like, it's like when you have a crappy car and it's going to break down, but you just need to hold it out, have it hold out while you go car shopping.
Yeah, that feels.
That's what I feel like is the analogy with the Giants right now. And the Giants went car shopping this year. They couldn't find cars they could afford.
Or they could. It just didn't have.
Well, what I'm saying,
they had too many miles.
They didn't want to make the trade, so
they had too many miles. Or
they didn't find the right car, so they just kept with the car they had and figured they'll look again later on. That's what I feel like basically is the analogy right now. But you know what happens when you hold on to a car too long? It breaks down.
It's gonna break down.
And this car broke the frick down on us today.
It definitely checking that oil.
It broke down. All the fluid's gone. Just it blew a head gasket today. Like, that's what happened. We all did. We all blew head gaskets watching this game.
Would you do to Jones?
What? No.
What?
But that's what it is, because the Giants didn't want to make just any move. That's what happened. They didn't want to just make any move. They wanted to make what they thought was the right move. And I think this is because of the fact that Shane and Dable are getting kind of a pass on Jones because he wasn't their guy. I'm sorry. The second you gave him that freaking contract,
he's your guy.
He's your guy. The second you gave him $40 million a year, he's your guy because you signed off on him.
Let's rewind 2 years ago, because we all agree this is the best move because there was no one better out there, especially when there wasn't that good of a quarterback draft class 2 years ago. So when you come out there, like, paying this guy what he's getting now, like, that was the best option that we had. But they should have done better and, like, looking around to what they could get this year going into the next year. Because, like, Jones, like, I'm the nice guy. I first episode, what's going to get us to the Super Bowl? Jones playing better. And insert foot into mouth, like, terrible.
No, you're
right?
not. It's not a wrong answer. It's an impossible answer.
Yeah,
that's like saying, what would get me out of debt? Winning $1 million.
Exactly. You're not wrong. It's pretty good. Yeah. Jones is not the answer. Jones is not going to be a quarterback here next year. Like, even if he plays twice as better than he played today, it's not much. He's not going to be a quarterback here next year. It's plain and simple. Like,
honestly, I think.
But the problem is, you said it. Like,
he's like the Kenny Galladay of quarterbacks right now.
He's going to be a backup somewhere.
I'm not so sure at this point.
He's going to be a backup somewhere.
I'm just not. I think he's somebody to bring him into camp. I don't know if he makes it a camp the way he's playing right now. I really don't. I hate to say this, guys. Like, I really want him to be wrong. I really want him to turn it around all of a sudden to be great. But it's been 6 years. I know better.
I mean, we also said that 2 years ago and turned around and had it, I don't want to say great. He had a good.
And Lewis asked the question, said, what team would trade for Daniel Jones right now? Nobody.
No one. Absolutely no one.
Here's what it is. It's not even that. We can't trade him because we'd lose more money against the cap.
Yes, exactly. Next year, when we cut him, we're going to, there's going to be some dead money. Someone's going to pick him up for $5 million. And DJ would be silly not to take $5 million and be out of the league. Even if someone offers him 3.5, he's going to take it.
Now, we talked about.
We
talked about Daniel Jones's contract before, but you look at it and you go, okay, next year if we cut him, we save $19 million against the cap. If we trade him, we also save $19 million against the cap, and then whoever then goes ahead and trades for him has to pay him, obviously, some money at that point there, and that's the problem. No one's going to take on money for him.
No,
so. It's a matter of trying to keep him healthy this year at this point. And that's what I'm saying. We got to go ahead and remember to go ahead and keep him on the bench at this point. Keep him healthy and get rid of him. Because if he gets hurt, and again, we haven't seen the contract. We haven't seen the contract, guys. So I'm not going to sit there and pretend like we have. Everything I read here and everything, if he gets hurt and he can't play next year, and that's what the stipulation is, he has to be hurt where he can't play next year, then he gets injury guaranteed money. We can't afford to give this guy more money. I'm going to use the car analogy again. If you have a beater and a POS, you don't put a brand new transmission into it.
Nope. You don't refinance that car.
No. We got to get out of him. Got to go. Time for a new QB. And I'm telling you guys, point blank, I want us to either trade to get somebody else different at quarterback to try to salvage this year. Because it's week 1, guys. The year's not over. To salvage this year. Or
who's that there?
Again, Jameis Winston's the only name I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, again, I feel like somebody's going to lambast us for this. Like, oh, he's not a good quarterback. You think he's a good quarterback. No, I'm not saying he's a good quarterback.
He's an upgrade.
He's an upgrade over DJ, and that's all that matters right now. And you can probably get him very cheap. But you go ahead and you get him, or a guy like him, or you put DeVito out and just ride with DeVito and Locke for this season at that point. And you do what Made by Giants just said. You pull him, you leave him on the bench healthy, and then you can cut him at the end of the season. He should be a healthy scratch. You're 100% correct, Made by Giants. I am done. He's on that list of like Flowers and Evan Neal at this point. I'm done.
Yeah. He's definitely on the he's in between those two guys, because let's be real. Because
we had the one good year.
DJ. Well, I'm saying, Neal has no good years, but he's also he's also a douchebag to the fans. Where DJ has been very respectful and spoke highly and it's done good for the market in the area. Too bad he can't play. He's our Chad Pennington.
Yeah,
only worse.
He's, and it's funny because who we played against today, but I feel like he is our version of Sam Darnold. Like, we went ahead and had the same problem the Jets had. We talked about this, you and I, on the show. Sam Darnold was a guy that the Jets kept going, is it us? Is it him? Is it us? Is it him? Can he get better? and they cut losses and traded him over to Carolina. We, instead, gave him a massive contract. We went the optimistic route. They went the pessimistic route. That's the difference. And, guys, I got why we needed him last year. Like, he played better than 22. You were hoping for an even better 23 at that point. I'm not even necessarily knocking them on the contract, because I think a lot of Giants fans were happy when the contract happened. So let me be very clear on that.
Yes.
I'm not trying to play revisionist history again. What I'm saying is they should have brought competition for him, legit competition, this offseason based on how he played last year. And they didn't, because they wanted to be
1,000%
supportive. They wanted to.
You want to be supportive of him, you got to make him better by giving him competition.
Well, no, here's the BS in this whole thing. You want to make him feel supportive. Why do you stroll every goddamn first-round draft pick quarterback into the freaking office? So you recognize the problem. You didn't do a damn thing to fix it. That's malpractice.
Or it's, PR, Tanya.
It's not PR. Tell me. I saw them in the building on Hard Knocks.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying, before Hard Knocks came out, they're like, "Oh, we're just going to ride with DJ." We're just
no, because they said point blank, "I'm going to talk to DJ and I'm going to let him know we're going to have these meetings with these quarterbacks." They made that a point to say that they had that conversation with DJ, and they talked to all these quarterbacks. And let's be honest, they decided that the ones they liked weren't worth trading up for. Because the Elliott Wolf, the Patriots, had the conversation with them and basically said, you'd have to blow me away. He didn't say no. He said, you have to blow me away with an amazing offer. They decided that in their mind, Drake May wasn't worth it. And I'm not saying they're wrong in that. I'm not a Drake May fan. Never have been.
Listen, Drake May's not playing today.
But because you didn't go out and get Drake May doesn't mean you go get Drew Lock, the safe pick. That's not going to compete with Daniel Jones. That's some BS. What I would have done personally, if I was Joe Schoen, is I would have sat down with a peanut butter sandwich. Because we all know he loves his peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I would have sat down with my sandwich, and I would have started calling up the agents of quarterbacks, the guys who are borderline starters, and say, listen, we got Daniel Jones in here. We want a security blanket because of how he played last year. We're going to have an open competition at the quarterback position this offseason. We're going to call up Joe Flacco's agent. We're going to call up the agent for Jameis Winston. We're going to call up Gardner Mitchell's agent. And we're going to say, who legitimately wants to come in here with a chance to start?
Prove himself.
Jacoby Brissett, who started today in New England. Another great example. Who wants a chance to start? Because there are some guys, I'm telling you right now, that would take the chance to start over more money.
Yeah. Because
you know what? That's the guy I want.
And the guy that does that is going for a starting job somewhere else down the line, which, guess what? Gets him more money. He's auditioned himself. So he's confident in himself to do the job correctly. So that's the kind of guy I want.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, like I said, I'm fed up, guys. And at this point, I'm just ranting ridiculously because I'm fed up.
Yeah.
And I'm admitting it freely. That's how fed up I am. But I see all the comments. You're fed up with us. And we appreciate you being fed up with us. So, I think it's time to call it a night, guys. I think it's time to raid the liquor cabinets.
100%. Uncle Jimmy Beam, Uncle Johnny, I'm coming to see ya.
My buddies Jose and Jack and
I'm gonna hang up the 4 horsemen tonight.
Yeah. So, guys, listen again. We appreciate you guys for coming on tonight. If you like the show, give a like, give a subscribe, give a follow, give a share, do whatever it is on whatever platform you're on. There's so many freaking platforms. It's ridiculous. But we are always live every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Along with, now that the season started, we will always do a post-game show for you guys as well. So that is 4 nights a week we will be on at that point for you guys. So
go forward.
we're on all off season as well. So if you're new to us, we're always the minimum of 3 per week. So we are live on YouTube, which is always our preferred spot for you guys to hang out with us there because it's probably the best spot to be at. Facebook, we're of course we're on Twitter, but we're not recording on there right now because Elon Musk is kind of a jerk. He's a jerk. He wants extra money for us to do that. We are on Twitch, still live at that point there. We're on Instagram as well. So listen, guys, come on down. Give a like, give a follow on all those different platforms there.
Wait, did you forget one, Drew? Did you forget one?
Oh yes, my LinkedIn profile. Rob loves my LinkedIn profile. Sorry. I did that on purpose, by the way. And then, of course, we're on all the audio podcast platforms. So if you like listening on the ride into work or ride home from work or dropping the kids off at school, though fair warning, if the kids are in the car with you, we do curse occasionally. We are available on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon, all the big ones there, guys. So listen, guys, chins up. It's a rough one today. It's a long season to go. And sometimes it's better to rip the Band-Aid off. And hopefully the poor play of Daniel Jones is going to force that Band-Aid the hell off. That's what I'm hoping for. Yeah. So appreciate you guys listening as always. Much appreciated. As always, Giant fans.
Go Giants!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please, please